the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
That's right, welcome back race fans once again here to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Glad you could join us. Glad you could join me, Darkside Dave, in the cave here in the Turn 3 Racing Network booth up here this Tuesday night for the Racing for Calls Throwback Series here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Motorcraft Quality Parts 100. This is race number 2 here in the Throwback Series for the RFC drivers. Can Steve Baker repeat his win last week? That's right, Steve Baker. That name sound familiar? Well, not only the first Throwback race winner, but he is also, remember that, your very first Racing for Calls Series champion. So look for Steve Baker to try to continue his dominance as he sits atop of, about knocked the keyboard down right there, but Steve Baker sitting on top of the speed charts right now, looking down pit road as all these drivers continue to shake down their cars. Things gonna get ready to get fired off here momentarily. We got about maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes remaining here in a happy hour before we get ready to go. So these drivers trying to figure out what the car is gonna do. Some very familiar names out there tonight: Steve Baker, Ryan Nolan, Dustin Ping, Katie Osmond, Brian Mescal Jr. round out your top 5 on the speed charts right now as they run a few drivers out there. I'll tell you what, let's go out there with the driver of the 6 machine. Let's go out there trackside, watch this Valvoline machine of Eric Blount as he comes off of turn number 2. Oh, into the outside wall. That is not what you want to do. There you see more contact for Eric. Tough break coming onto the camera shot there with him. Go back here to this little trio as they shake down their machines. The 33 of Brian Mescal Jr. right there with Brian Littleton making their way down the backstretch here in happy hour. The drivers looking like they're a little bit loose out there right now. Looks like the cars are floating around just a little bit, maybe not to the liking of a few of the drivers out there. We'll get a little bit closer to the action for you. A little bit different aspect here in these throwback cars, these 87s, the Fords and the Chevys. The tail ends of the cars drive completely different from what the Cup cars drive here. It's somewhat like driving a boat. If you ever drove your grandma's car, and then imagine like doing 160 in it. That's what it's like to drive one of these machines. It's pretty fun too. I had the opportunity to get down there on track last week. Unfortunately, race not turning out the way I wanted it, but it is what it is. We'll hit the track a little bit later on in the season if we can. There you see the time ticking down on happy hour, just under the 15-minute mark, 13 and a half minutes to be exact. So quite a long time for these drivers to get things sorted out. So with all that being said, we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back.
Where the field is rolling out for the start of today's 400-lap race on this .625-mile racetrack. Here's the starting lineup. On the pole from Dawsonville, Georgia, in the number 9 Coors Ford qualifying and Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro is underway. Everybody nicely through turns number 1 and 2 as Bill Elliott has the lead and Dale Earnhardt has jumped into second position, followed by Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison.
His second win of 1987.
And oh man, those were the days, those were the times, huh? Great era of NASCAR right there around the 87, early 90s. I'm not going to get into an argument and shoving match, things of that nature about what era is better than what and things of that nature. But anyways, drivers continue to shake down their machines. About 10 minutes remaining here now in a happy hour. Last week's race winner, Steve Baker, still sitting on top of the speed charts right now. Quick time for Baker right now, a 32:06. Brian Nolan sitting with a 32:09, 32:15 by Dustin Ping. Tyler Hilton right there in a 32:15, 32:21 for Eric Blount to round out the top 5. Big shout out there to Ohio and Indiana Roofing Company's title sponsor here in the Racing for a Cause Throwback Series. So big shout out to them, as well as Blackhawk Motorsports, for all that they do here for behind the scenes and things of that nature for RFC and Racing for a Cause. So tip of the hat to them as well. Gonna get ready to shake things down here just in a little bit. You know, about 7-8 minutes, we'll get things fired off here for qualifying. Then we'll head off in to tonight's race, the Motorcraft Quality Parts 100 here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. And I tell you what, let's go down there, give you a first-hand view if we can. And tell you what, let's see who we have out there with one of our onboard cameras. Let's see, let's go through the list here. Why don't we go out there with the driver of the 57 machine, Damon Cox, as he makes his way around the track. Tell you what, go on board with him to get a first-hand view of how these cars handle. And just a quick little glance up there. You see how that window net's attached? Yeah, that's a seatbelt buckle. A seatbelt buckle, man. See, back then, bro, you had to just, no fear. You had to have no fear, get in the car and just sail it off in there. You hear those tires screeching. Damon Cox having to catch the car. Oh, still loose. Car still sideways. He gets it under control. Fires off back down the backstretch once again, but oh, that was pretty tough. See who else is out there on track. Looks like Ryan Nolan, Stephen Page, Damon Cox, Chris Medford, Brian Littleton. Tell you what, let's go out there with Matthew McMeekin, driver of the 14 machine. Let's see how he's getting around the track. Let's see how he's faring right now. There you see your leaderboard here in happy hour as we begin to get closer and closer to the 5-minute remaining mark here in happy hour. So drivers putting the final touches. Ooh, the 43 in the wall, hard going around, spinning. Man, that looked like it was no bueno, no good. 14 now spinning around. Matthew McMeekin contact with that inside wall. More drivers going around the track. Seen the Tide machine. Looked like a Tide machine. No, that's an Autism Speaks or an Autism Awareness machine being driven by that 57. Damon Cox right there. I believe that is Chris Medford right there running with him. And well, sorry folks, lied to you a little bit there. 6.5 minutes remaining here in happy hour before we get things kicked off and ready to go here in qualifying for the Motorcraft Quality Parts 100 here from Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Racing for Cause Throwback Series, sponsored by Ohio and Indiana Roofing Company. We're going to step away for just a brief commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Back trackside here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, race number 2 in the fall 2020 season for The Racing Forward Calls Throwback Series presented to you by Ohio and Indiana Roofing Company, Blackhawk Motorsports, also coming on board as one of the sponsors for the season. So big shout out to each and every one of them. Also big shout out and thoughts, prayers, best wishes going out to a fellow driver out there, Doug Wasaki. Can't be here tonight. Wish you the best and your upcoming surgery. Hope all goes well. Look forward to seeing you back out on the track very soon. Also, another fellow driver not on track here tonight, Troy Radford, having some foot issues, I'll call them. If you've been on the Facebook page, you kind of know and you seen. So wish you the best and speedy recovery as well, Troy, and look forward to getting both of you gentlemen back out on the tracks in the many different series here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. So I know all the fans, friends, and family out there in the YouTube side of things missing you out there on track. So can't wait to get you back out there and along with us. Just a few final minutes remaining here in happy hour there. You see it about a minute and a half remaining as Steve Baker, last week's race winner. I've said it multiple times, and he sits on top of the speed charts once again here at a very different track. Atlanta Motor Speedway, much different from Daytona International Speedway. First and foremost, well, this is only a mile and a half, where Daytona, not quite so much. Track temperature out there, 124 degrees. These drivers going to be slipping and sliding. These older cars have a very different chassis. They travel a lot differently. They get into the corners. They go over the bumps differently. And a track temperature like that on a car that's already a handful, look for a lot of drivers to have their handfuls. Look for a lot of drivers to be sawing on the wheel. And Derek, big shout out to you. Appreciate the info out there. Racecast app. Go check it out right now. You can check out the race right there as well, not just here on YouTube. So glad to be out there on the Racecast app as well. Here tonight for the RFC Throwback Series. That's right, it's them 87 cars hitting the track. It's old school style, baby. Old school style restarts, all of that nature. Old school style rules, all in effect. And we're getting ready to kick things off, fire things off, ready to go. Qualifying here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. So, let's see who's got what it takes to take the pole position. Can Steve Baker repeat what he's already done so far here tonight? And that's the lead. The lead on the timing and scoring. We'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out at the end of qualifying. Now looks like checkered flag being waved. Now green flag going to be displayed for qualifying to get underway. Looks like we do have a few drivers already hitting their cars. Looks like Chris Medford, Eric Blount, Brian Snare, Joshua Spalding, Troy Radford out here on the track. Oh my goodness. Wow. Just not long ago from a big time foot injury, and here sits Troy Radford. He is out on track. Oh my goodness. There you see a number of cars down on the bottom of the screen. They're all out there on some up to speed laps. No driver putting in a timed lap just yet, so we'll continue to wait and see how that all shakes out. Ten-minute qualifying session here from Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Motorcraft Quality Parts 100 for this RFC. A throwback series presented to you by Ohio and Indiana Roofing Company. Blackhawk Motorsports also on board, sponsoring this season here for Racing for a Cause. Man, I tell you what, it's been an exciting season already. Last week out there, Daytona, man, I had my hands full. And the Darkside Dave number 25 machine, and fortunately didn't work out for me. But, yeah. Troy Radford looking like he may be having some issues there, slowing down for just a brief moment, now getting going once again as we see off to the left-hand side. Those are the drivers that have put in some time lapse. Nobody actually putting in a real-time lap just yet. Kind of awkward and funny. We'll go back and look at the 82 machine. Big shout-out paint scheme. Check that out. And that looks pretty sick. He's going to come to a stop. Go out there with Rick Hammond as he comes off of pit road. Let's see where Hammond can put his machine. Let's see what he's got in that 78. And looks like he's got some trouble because he's back down on the apron. So a lot of drivers with some issues here in qualifying. We'll jump out there with that AC Delco Chevy Monte Carlo of Brian Mescal Jr. Sorry, brain just went completely blank. Completely blank. Yeah, that's right. You heard that. Completely blank. I'll spit it out eventually. Brian Mescal Jr. going to cross the line. Looks like he's slotting in somewhere right in the 10th position right now. Chris Stump sitting on top of the speed charts. Quick time right now, a 32:06. Looks like Brian Mescal Jr. going to bring his car to a stop. Ryan Nolan out there on his qualifying laps. See where he where he shakes it on out. Ryan Nolan gonna cross the line this time by. Where's he go? Where's he go? All the way to 6th. A 32:20 on the time lap there for Ryan Nolan. What can he do with this 87 machine on his second time lap? Looking good and clean right now. Halfway down the back stretch, heading off into turn number 3. Things looking good. Car looking good right now for Nolan. Oh, not looking so good now. Oh, my goodness. And was absolutely not expecting that one. That one completely caught us off guard, I'll be honest with you. Chris Stump sitting on top of the speed charts right now. Quick time with a 32.06. So he leads the speed charts right now. Troy Radford in second. Steve Baker only good enough for third here when it mattered in the qualifying session. But we're going to have to keep our eye on that 55. That's for sure. Going to look around the speed chart, see if anybody else is ready to go out there qualifying. Looks like Dustin German and Chris Legue out there qualifying right now. So we'll jump out there, check out and see what this 71 machine is doing. Looks like he's on his up-to-speed lap. So we'll jump a little bit forward here. Go with the 28 of Dustin German as he makes his way off of turn number 4. Going to come to the tri-oval, begin his first time lap. German hugging that white line. Oh, car stepping out just a little bit. Staying in the throttle. Foot to the floor. Oh, my goodness. Oh, hard impact. Oh, my goodness. That looked pretty rough. Dustin German going to jump all the way to the 6th spot. We'll go out there now. Oh, Roy Hyde, the 00, having some issues. Joshua Spalding out there on track. Where's he going to shake out? Gonna walk across the line, drive across the line, I should say. Oh, very close to that outside wall on his first time lap here. Go ahead and throw your qualifying standings up across the ticker for you at the top here. 1 lap to go for Joshua Spalding, and he's actually, looks like he's going to go ahead and call it quits. Nobody else out there on their qualifying laps right now, as we have about 3 minutes remaining here in our 10-minute qualifying session. 3 minutes remaining. Looks like we've had about 19 drivers turn in a timed lap. Got a few of them out there that they're just kind of hanging out in the car, not really rolling off. Still have about 9 of those drivers out there on pit lane, just kind of hanging out. So with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to step away from the track for just a brief moment. Go ahead, pay a few of the bills, and head down trackside for the national anthem. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with all your green flag action live here from Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Motorcraft Quality Parts 100. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming,
really see and hear those jets flying over the track. Welcome, race fans, once again here to the Turn 3 Racing Network. I am Darkside Dave in the cave here in the Turn 3 Racing Network booth. We're set to kick things off here in the Motorcraft Quality Parts 100, live from Atlanta Motor Speedway in the RFC Throwback Series. Your starting lineup looks a little something like this. Starting inside row number 1, pole position, the 98 of Chris Stump, followed to his outside by the 94 of Troy Radford. Steve Baker lining up in third. Fourth place goes to Tyler Hilton. Row number 3, the 9 of Dustin Ping, the 28 of Dustin German. Ryan Nolan slotted in 7th. Brian Snare gonna start 4th car outside row number 5, and rounding out the top 10, Katie Osmond, Chris Medford. Will move a little further through your starting grid just to give you a little bit of an idea. There you see the 6 of Eric Blount right there in 11th. Roy Hyde back there in 20th. Rick Hammond 18th. Brian Littleton all the way back in 20th. So drivers scattered all over the track here tonight as we get ready to go qualify. Well, qualifying's actually already done with Dave. It's race time, man. Ford Mustang set to go green flag racing for the first time here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Motorcraft Quality Parts 100 field. Hits the gas and away we go. Cars down and away, everybody nice and clean through turn number 1. Looks like there's a little bit of a stack up a little further through the field. Chris Stump stepping away right now. Here comes that 55 of Steve Baker working to his inside. Baker hunting the lead on lap number 1 here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Baker now clear of Stump. Baker goes to the point. Lap number 1 already in a familiar place. Baker leading this field. Tyler Hilton looking to make some moves on the outside right there. Ryan Nolan, the 87, stuck down onto the inside. Oh, bit of a moment there. Tyler Hilton almost coming together with, I believe that was Dustin German, the 28. We'll take a little look further back in the field as we've got some more battles going on. The 343, the 31 mixing things up. The 48 of Joshua Spalding involved. Damon Cox, there you see him right there wiggling around just a little bit in his autism awareness. Monte Carlo 57 machine moving up 3 positions already from where he started today's race. Meanwhile, back at the front, Steve Baker continues to lead, but not being able to shake the field. Radford still in 3rd. 4th place, Dustin Ping. Ryan Nolan right there. 5th, Tyler Hilton knocking on the door. Here comes Dustin German. Brian Snare also getting involved. Katie Osmond, Eric Blount, Brian Mescal Jr. All of these drivers right here inside your top 10. Right there, ready to mix it up for the race lead. All of your top 10 drivers just about a second and a half within the race lead. Oh, big time moment there for the 94 of Radford. He's going to fall back just a moment. These 87 machines a little bit more dependent on momentum when you got to get out of the gas. Oh, a little bit of a moment there. 3 wide, almost 3 different lines across the tri-oval. My goodness, that could have been pretty interesting. Drivers clipping the apron right there just a little bit. Dustin German moving up the track. That's going to force the 43 of Brian Snare to get out of the gas. He's going to fall to the wayside now. Down on the inside, Ryan Nolan tries to make up some ground. Oh, hard into the outside wall goes Dustin Ping. The 9 recovering. You're going to watch him here for a moment, wiggling that front end around just a little bit. Looks like he's got it recovered, got it going in the right direction. Drivers clipping the apron just a little bit right there as well. That was Chris Medford, I believe, as he's just now making his way by Dustin German. Now Matthew McMeekin looking to the inside, trying to get his 14 machine closer to a top 10 position. Right now we still got 28 drivers on the track, 28 drivers gridded, still running, all on the lead lap, coming to take lap number 6 here underway. Lap number 7 now as the leaders cross the start-finish line. Steve Baker continues to lead the race. now beginning to slowly extend his race lead. Only about a 2-car race length for a Baker, but that's starting to slowly grow. Radford able to make his way up and around Chris Stump. He put Radford into that second position. Hats off to Radford, man. He's out there. He pretty much just destroyed his foot. Probably in a cast, has some pins or something of that nature. And he's already out here driving about what? We'll have to get with Troy on this under a caution if we have one. But maybe 2.5 weeks after doing this out here on track. So amazing to see Radford out there on track, and even better to see him up there inside your top 3, knocking on the door of the race lead. He's got a tough competitor right there in front of him. Steve Baker is not a softie. Gonna look a little further back through the field. Dustin German now battling with Ryan Nolan. Nolan giving that position up. Now he's gonna have to deal with Tyler Hilton. Hilton making his way up into a position to try to knock himself into the top 5 right there on the gearbox of that 87. Now looking to the inside, heading into turn number 3. Both gain a little bit of ground on Dustin German just in front of them. Everything looking like it's shaking out to be nice and neat, nice and clean through the field. Doesn't look like there's any troubles, anything's going on. So we'll take a look around at a couple different battles. Battles back here, that's back around the top 20 position right now. Russ Hancock running in the 20th position. Brian Littleton, Roy Hyde right here mixing it up. Lane Botts right there behind him. Michael Massengill, Cade Green, Rick Hammond Jr., Ray Radford rounds out the field in 28th position. A little bit further up through the field, you can catch another little battle brewing right here. That's the 57 of Damon Cox. The 13 machine is also right there. Zach Coyer, Joshua Spalding, Travis Smith just back there in the background. There you see him coming off of turn number 4. Keeping an eye on the front of the field. Nothing changing up at the front. Radford right there, but nothing really changing. Oh, now we've got a changing of the guard. Looks like Radford's going to try to take it to the race lead. Looks like a little bit of audio issues here with this angle, so we'll have to take a little look-see at that under our next commercial break. We'll get that all fixed up for you, do promise you on that one. Steve Baker continues to lead the race up at the front. Troy Radford right behind him. Oh, trouble on the track. Cade Green goes off track. Yellow flag is out. We'll have to take a look back, see what happened here. See if we can't cue that up one good time here. Oh, and not looking like we're going to be able to find that one for you, race fans, so do apologize about that. Nonetheless, we'll rejoin the field back up at the front with your race leader, Steve Baker. I believe everybody's going to come to pit road this time by. 15 laps into tonight's race, but these drivers are more than likely screaming for some fresh tires. And it does look like everybody going to come down pit road this time by. So we're going to take a brief commercial break, step away from the track for just a moment. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back. Flag back in the air here from Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Motorcraft Quality Parts. 100 drivers making their way around the track. We've got a scrum up at the front. Dustin German, Tyler Hilton, Steve Baker, all right there right now. Ryan Nolan also right there. Hilton trying to make his way to the top spot. Baker falls to the second position as he's got Tyler Hilton just behind him. Now Dustin German tries to set sail, tries to do what that 55 of Baker did, and that's lead this field for quite a handful of laps. Baker leading the first about 13 to 14 laps, losing the top spot there on pit road. Lost out by quite a bit, actually. Was on pit road for quite a extended stay compared to a few of the other drivers out there. But nonetheless, he continues on about his business. Dustin German now trying to keep Steve Baker at bay. Small little battle going on right here. Here is Chris Stump, Troy Radford, Katie Osmond. All of these drivers battling it out. Ryan Nolan right there in that battle with Chris Stump and Troy Radford. Just behind them, as I said, Katie Osmond, Matthew McMeekin, Brian Meskel Jr., Joshua Spalding, Eric Blount, all right here. A lot of drivers, a lot of positions, all up in the air right now as we cross the line this time by. quarter of the way through tonight's Motorcraft Quality Parts 100 live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Watching a little further back in the pack as Dustin German has slowly stepped away from Steve Baker. 0.3 of a second separate your race leader back to the second place man, Steve Baker. He's got about a 0.2 of a second gap back to Tyler Hilton, then a big gap back to Ryan Nolan, about a second back to Nolan. Nolan looks like he may be part of a little bit of an issue right now. Looks like maybe a little bit of a rolling roadblock right now as Radford roots that 87 of Nolan up out of that bottom groove. Gonna send him to the top of the track. Look for that 87 to try to come back down to the bottom. Does right across the nose. Oh my goodness. Right across the nose of Katie Osmond. That could have been pretty bad right there. That was pretty close. Or actually, that was right across the nose of the 98, Chris Stump. Do apologize about that. Katie Osmond just behind him. Brian Mescal Jr., Matthew McMeekin right there. Joshua Spalding, Eric Blount also right here knocking on the door of a top 5, already inside of your top 10. And Dustin German, man, I tell you, he has got some trouble. Steve Baker's there on the bottom out of turn number 2. Race lead back in the hands of Baker, and here comes Hilton. Ken Hilton follow him through, and I tell you what, let's go down there when one of our onboard cameras here join some of the racing action going on here on board with the 82 of Tyler Hilton gyro cam here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Let's give you a little bit of the sounds as well. And man, you can just hear it all through that corner. Just listen to this. I mean, just listen to the difference in the corners. These tires are being absolutely destroyed. Listening to them scream. Absolutely destroying the tires, but that's the only way to do it, because you got to be up on the wheel of these 87 Throwback Series machines here in the RFC Throwback Series, being brought to you by Ohio and Indiana Roofing Company, Blackhawk Motorsports, also associate sponsor here. Big shout out to both of them. Do want to give a big shout out and do want to keep them in mind out there. Not able to join the track here, but we do wish you the best. Our thoughts with you going into your surgery. Doug Wasaki, miss you, man. And can't wait to see you back out there on track. Maybe you can get out here and have a return like Radford. Troy Radford returning to the track after having a broken foot issue. Up here running inside the top 4 right now, running in that 4th position. So Radford doing a heck of a job, man. I tell you what. Gonna go through a little bit of house cleaning after that first caution. Looks like the 19 of Cade Green back behind pit wall, back at the hauler, loading the machine up. So looks like we have one victim fall to the wayside here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Motorcraft Quality Parts 100. Cade Green gonna finish tonight's race in the 28th and final finishing position. Back at the front, Steve Baker continues to lead Tyler Hilton. Dustin German right there in 3rd. Troy Radford in 4th. Chris Stump running right there in the 5th position. Ryan Nolan, Katie Osmond, Matthew McMeekin, Brian Mescal Jr., Joshua Spalding round out your top 10. Small battles all over the racetrack. We've got your top 7 all right here, pretty much nose to tail. About a car in between most of them. Some have a car, some have about a car and a half, some have just a half a car. But your top 7 all right there grouped up with each other. Do have another small group of cars right here. The 48 of Chris Medford. He's got Eric Blount, Stephen Page, Jeffrey Clifton right there as well. Brian Littleton also in this mix. Brian Snare off in the distance as well, running in the 16th position. So, I mean, we've got drivers mixing it up for position all over the racetrack, not just at the front. Going to go a little bit further back in the field, check in with Dustin Ping. There you see him, the driver of the 9 after contact with the wall earlier in the race in that first green flag little stint we had there. Contact with that outside wall, the right-hand side, banged up just a little bit, so Ping having a little bit of trouble running back there in the 24th position right now. Russ Hancock, you can find him running in the 21st position right there, the 343. Pretty much just hanging out right about here in this 20th position. Did see him move up there for just a brief moment. Then he's kind of fell back here in the 20th spot and has just kind of hung out here. But we do have quite a long way to go. Just about a third of the way through tonight's race. 32 laps out of 100 in the book here tonight for the Motorcraft Quality Parts 100 live on the Turn 3 Racing Network for the Racing for a Cause Throwback Series. That's right. Running these throwback machines this fall 2020. Why not? We've thrown everything else at you this year in 2020. Might as well throw you a little bit of throwback series as well. Back up at the front, Steve Baker continues to lead the pack. Tyler Hilton right there behind him, but we've got battles brewing. We've got side-by-side battles going on. Dustin German, Troy Radford, Ryan Nolan, Chris Stump, Katie Osmond, they're all right there mixing it up. So that top 7 getting a little bit maybe frustrated right now. Wanting to go, wanting to move, but lines being taken away, and looks like drivers running up on each other just a little bit, and we'll see just how patient some of these drivers at the front are willing to be, because the more patient they are, the faster they'll slowly begin to step away from the field. Yes, they'll be going a little bit slower, but they're going to be organized. They're going to be breaking their contact. The 94 goes around. Oh, my goodness. Brian Snare, Troy Radford. Oh, my gosh. Drivers up on their lid. Looked like Roy Hyde on his lid. No, Hyde, he makes it by. Oh, my goodness. I don't even know who was on their lid right there. We'll take a look back here, see what happened. One perspective of it here, you see Damon Cox trying to slow down. Oh, more drivers into him. Oh, my goodness. Who was that spinning upside down? I believe that may have been Michael Mason Gill upside down. Oh, man. Cars are just... Oh, my goodness. There is going to be quite a few drivers torn up in that one. I do hope, for the sake of a lot of these drivers caught up in that one, none of their doing, that they do have a fast repair at hand. We'll have to wait and see if that is such. Yeah. Race leader Steve Baker going to come down pit road. He leads a long train of cars. Looks like everybody going to come down pit road this time by. So we'll let things shake themselves out. We'll let everything play out here after that very big caution and chaos down there on the track. So we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Back trackside as the field makes their way around this 1.5 mile D-shaped oval here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, working ourselves to lap number 40 when we get set to fire things off, this time by that Mustang. Gonna move on out of the way once we get down this back stretch and out of turn number 4. Drivers gonna get set to fire things back off once again. Steve Baker back at the front of the field. He'll restart the race inside row. He'll have that 82 of Tyler Hilton just to his outside. Dustin German, Matthew McMeekin will make up row number 2. Row number 3 will be Joshua Spalding and Katie Osmond. Chris Medford, Eric Blunt rounding out your top 4. Your top 8. Sorry about that. Roy Hyde rounding out your top 10 with Brian Littleton just beside him. Pace car down and away. Baker ready to hit the gas. Green flag flies here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. And the Motorcraft Quality Parts 100 field well and away side by side heading into turn number 1. Still side by side for second place right now. Dustin German tries to take that spot away from Tyler Hilton. Hilton trying to get back up there and battle for the race lead. Baker has the spot now. 1 car advantage over both lanes, side by side racing still for second place. Third car back there running in the 4th spot, Joshua Spalding. That was pretty confusing, wasn't it? Katie Osmond making his way around Matthew McMeekin. Chris Medford gonna make his way through as well. So put Osmond up inside the top 5 for the first time all day here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And hey, how you doing, Miss Linda? I'm doing good. Hope you're doing good as well. Haven't been ignoring the chat, just been daydreaming. You know, look at this racing action on screen right here. Oh my goodness. Baker, he has got Hilton and German all over him. And here comes Osmond, here comes Spalding, Medford, Page right there as well. Oh my goodness, this is getting heated up at the front of the field. Dustin German was able to step out to almost a 1 second race lead at one point in time. He has been the only driver to be able to step away from the field like that. Baker has not been able to really step away from his competitors the way that Dustin German was able to. So maybe running a different strategy for the tire wear. Maybe being displayed by Steve Baker. Maybe German was eating the tires up just a little bit more. We'll have to wait to see how all that shakes out. Going to look for a few more battles on the track as it looks like things calming down, getting single file up here at the front of the field. Looks like most of the things are single file back through the field. We'll go, oh, contact. Drivers going around. Oh my goodness. Green flag stays displayed here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Contact with the outside wall for a brief moment. Sounds like more drivers bouncing off that outside wall. We are now watching the 80 of Brian Littleton, and look at this little scrum of cars. He's got the 6 of Eric Blount right there in front of him, the 15. Actually, I believe that is the 19 right to his outside. No, that is the 15, Jeffrey Clifton, right there to his outside. Katie Osmond off in the foreground, just in front of them. Not too far away. Ryan Nolan also just in front of these drivers. Steve Baker continues to lead this race. Tyler Hilton in second, Dustin German in third. Dustin German continuing to lead the race, continuing to have a dominating performance after walking away with the race win last week. He continues to lead the most laps out there tonight as we creep closer and closer to that halfway point. And pretty soon, he's going to go ahead and secure the most laps led award out there tonight, because that 55 has only not been in the lead, I would say, for about maybe 15 laps or so out here tonight. So Baker picking up right where he left off, but will Hilton spoil the party? Dustin German's right there. Katie Osmond, familiar name as well, been to victory lane multiple times in a different series here with the RFC, the Racing for a Cause League and umbrella of series. So a lot of familiar names out there on track. Chris Medford running in the 6th spot. Matthew McMeekin, they're battling it out for the 6th and 7th spot. There you see him just off in the distance. A lot of different small 1-2 car battles going on. Well, one car can't battle with it. So, well, I guess it can. If your car's not handling the way you want it, you can find yourself fighting that thing. So, I mean, I guess. While we find ourselves with a brief little lull in the racing action here, going to do a little bit of house cleaning. 28 drivers took to the starting grid here tonight. We still have 26 drivers out there running right now. Chris Stump, Cade Green, first 2 drivers off of the track and behind the pit walls. More drivers, sounds like they're having some scraping and beating and banging issues off on the front stretch as we watch your race leaders go down the back stretch and into turn number 3. We've still got 24 drivers on the lead lap. Rick Hammond Jr. being shown as the last car on the lead lap. Ray Radford being scored as the first car 1 lap down. Troy Radford right there behind him running in the 26th position. Ryan Nolan gonna hit pit road that time by. Not sure if that's a fuel strategy move or a damage strategy move. We'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out as we continue to watch the front of the field. About a car length separate your top 4 from each other, so we're gonna go a little further back in the field now. Stephen Page battling with the 6 of Eric Blount, trying to make his way around him and move himself a little further up inside the top 10. Brian Littleton just behind him, under fire from Jeffrey Clifton. That is a battle for a top 10 position. Littleton, last driver inside that top 10, so we'll watch this battle unfold right here. Littleton stepping away for the moment from Clifton. He's beginning to close in on the back of that one machine of Stephen Page. Page goes up the track. That opens up the bottom lane for Littleton. He's right there. Quarter panel now at the door. That outside run gonna prevail, though, heading into turn number 3. Page with the advantage for the brief moment. Now the 80 of Littleton digging on the bottom. He's got a half of a car advantage. Looks like they're going to be side-by-side drag race for the spot to the line. Give the position to the 80 of Littleton, and he's going to have the preferred line going into turn number 1. Bumper now clear in the center of turns 1 and 2. We'll see if he can maintain it off of the corner exit. Look like he's going to be able to. Now the 80 of Littleton going to set his sights in on that 6 of Eric Blount. A little further back through the field, another battle right here between Brian Mescal Jr. and Zach Coyle. Zach Coyle right there trying to take that spot away. He's got Travis Smith just behind them. So a nice little 3-car battle being had right here between Mescal Jr., Coyle, and Smith. Gonna check back in with your race leaders. Nothing really going on. Nothing really happening. Baker still maintaining the race lead. Hilton right there behind him. Those top 2, they've slowly begun to step away from Dustin German. It looks like your 4th place runner, Katie Osmond, he may have had a little bit of a moment because he has slid all the way back to the 6th position, falling to the wayside. Chris Medford and Joshua Spalding both making their way around the 88, who is sliding backwards through the field. And there you see Osmond off in the background, sliding backwards right now. Not sure what's going on with that 88. He's slowly making his way back forward now, beginning to make his way back around Chris Medford, or looking to for the brief moment, but he's got to deal with the 14 of Matthew McMeekin just behind him. And don't count out Brian Littleton because he's made his way up and around Eric Blount as well. So Littleton on the move through the field right now. He is one of the faster drivers out there on track. That last time by, lap time almost mirroring your race leader. So Brian Littleton and that 80 is definitely on the move forward. And this battle between these drivers right here on screen, these 4 drivers, they're going to be battling here in just a moment with the front runners, as Baker, Hilton, and German have all come back together. Only a second back from them you will find Joshua Spalding, Chris Medford, K.D. Osmond, Matthew McMeekin. Then you go about another second, 3/4 of a second back, and you can find Brian Littleton on the come up right now. Eric Blount right behind him. Stephen Page will round out your top 10. Looking for battles on track. No battles too small for us here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. The 57 of Damon Cox trying to bring his autism awareness machine around the Mission 2243 machine of Mike Massengill. I apologize about that. That's the 4 machine. The Mission 22 number 4. There you go. That makes a little sense. It sounds a little awkward when you say the Mission 22-4. Sounds like you're saying 22-4. Never mind. Things that go on in my head. Ha. Damon Cox was right there on the rear bumper of Mike Massengill. He's going to fall to the wayside for the brief moment into the hands of Dustin Ping. So anytime these drivers have a moment, you see what happens to them. They just, oh my goodness, in trouble behind us. Looks like Ray Radford involved. The 47 of Ray Radford, there you see him just to the outside of the 87. Contact, and into the outside wall goes Radford. Caution flag flies. We'll take one more look at it here at this contact. And it looked like just a little bit of a twitch, a little bit of a touch. And it was just enough to get that 47 machine upset and into the outside wall. He goes. Tough break for Ray Radford. Trucking along here tonight, having a good, solid, quiet race. And bang, just like that. It's pretty much done and over with for that 47 machine, so hate to see that. We'll rejoin the front of the field up there with your race leader, the 55 of Steve Baker, as he continues to, dominate here tonight, as he's led just about 50% of the race out here tonight. And he's going to lead a long parade of cars down pit road. So we'll wait, let these drivers hit their pit boxes. Then we'll see if we can't get in a word or two with one of the drivers out there on track. Tell you what, all you guys out there on the chat, who you want to talk to? Let's see who we can get on the mic. With that all being said, we're going to step away for just a brief moment. We'll be right back.
We got big-time problems with that motor, buddy. Hey, just between you and me, the idea is to avoid the other cars. Congratulations! You just set the sport back 30 years with that move. That move will put you in the Hall of Shame. You keep doing stuff like that and we're going to lose our sponsor. Looks like that's it for us today. Now I know why you got canned by your old team. It's over. We can't fix that damage. You'll need a tow back to pit lane. Press and hold your reset button and we'll come and get you.
Back trackside here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, we find ourselves under caution once again here tonight. And I tell you what, you've spoke, so we're going to see if we can't get a hold of them. Tell you what, let's see if we can't get a hold of one of the fan choices. Let's see if we can't grab a quick word or two with the driver of that 71 machine. Chris, how you doing, man? It's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
Dave, I got you, brother.
Hey, buddy. Well, the fans, they asked for you. They got you. They wanted the interview with you. So, how's the car? How's the track? How's the race?
To be perfectly honest, I've been fighting with my computer the entire night. I went from VR to a single monitor. it doesn't feel good out here for me. From what I'm seeing and feeling, it looks like the tires give up at about 15 laps or so with the heat on the track. But, I'm kind of keeping it out the back, trying to keep it out of the wall. I have gotten my Darlington stripe here at Atlanta.
Well, I'm not sure if you call it a Darlington stripe since we're not at Darlington, but hey, I've heard weirder things today, so we'll just let that one continue to roll on. Chris, not going to keep you much longer with one to go here, but before we let you go, you want to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on the side of that car?
I got to thank JDRF first and foremost. I got Priority Hood Auto on the hood. That's my shop up here in Vermont. I got to thank Rick for helping out and getting us out of retirement here. And everybody, of course, out there. Dave, I want to thank you for stepping in tonight, brother. You're doing an awesome job. I am listening.
All right, well, there you have it. Some words from our very own Chris Legue as he brings his 71 machine around the track. And look at this. There's been a changing of the guard up at the front. Joshua Spalding's pit crew getting the job done, getting him the race lead. He's going to get set to fire things off. Hits the gas. Away we go. Green flag flies. Once again here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Steve Baker gets a great start on the outside right now, side by side with Spalding going into turn number 1. Now advantage goes to that 48 machine. Up the track. Contact. Into the outside wall goes Baker. Carnage and chaos ensues. Oh my. This is the big one. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I am not sure. Oh wow. I mean, who wasn't involved? That's a better way to put what happened. I don't know how half of these cars are even running at this point in time. Holy goodness. I mean, that's wow. Trying to back it up, get a little further back, see if we can't see what all happened, because, man, it was nuts up here. There you see it. Oh, my goodness. Dustin German goes up and over a driver. Oh, my goodness. That was Travis Smith. Welcome to the series, brother. Car going up and over. Oh, my goodness. 2 cars, 3 cars flipping. Oh, wow. That. Oh, and another car. Oh, my goodness. Still flipping. Wow, that was. Ooh. That was very rough. Very, very rough to see. We'll rejoin the field up at the front, back behind the pace car. Oh, my. Rick Hammond leading the field now. Chris Legue right behind him. Chris Medford, Lane Botts, all 4 of those drivers, I believe, may be the only 4 drivers not involved in that incident that time. Oh my, because I'm telling you, going through, wow, just going through and looking at all of the carnage and damage being shown right now on the incident report. My goodness, there is a ton of drivers involved in this latest one. A lot of drivers down there on pit road. Hilton, Mescal Jr., Massengill, Baker, Hyde, German, Snare, Blount, Hancock, Smith, Radford. Oh my goodness. The list just goes on and on. This is going to need some cleanup, that is for sure. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to step away for just about a 1-minute commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. back track side. Once again, race fans, do want to thank each and every one of you for joining us out there tonight, whether it's here on the Turn 3 Racing Network here on YouTube or over there on the Racecast app. If you haven't heard about it, go check it out. You can find us over there as well tonight. A big shout out to each and every one of you fans, friends, and family for stopping by each and every time you do, whether it's myself, Darkside Dave in the Cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 Racing Network. We do appreciate each and every time you join us here tonight and join me on this next green flag run here. We get ready to restart. Green flag flies. Lane Bots hits the gas, and away we go. Chris Medford sleeping on the bottom. Oh my goodness. Medford sleeping on that restart now, getting his machine up to speed, and away he goes. Big move off the backstretch. Big time trouble for Lane Bots. Freight train on the bottom. Here comes Osbin. Osbin up to the second position, half of the car off of the rear of Chris Medford. Contact with Bots, and around goes the 48. Ryan Nolan also going around. More cars piling in now. Oh, contact made the 71. Chris caught up in this one. Tough break right there. My goodness, that was a very, very tough one. And absolutely there, I will agree with you, Terry. Holy totaled cars, Batman. Absolutely. That was a lot of cars involved in the last one. This latest one, oh my goodness. More cars caught up and involved. So if you may have been caught up in an earlier incident, some of these late race troubles could work to your advantage if you play the cards right. We'll have to wait and see how it's all sorted out up at the front of the field. Chris Medford going to stay out on the track right behind the pace car with the race lead. Katie Osmond right there in second. Third place, Matthew McMeekin fourth. Tyler Hilton, Brian Mescal Jr. rounding out the top five. Inside the top five for the first time here tonight for that AC Delco Chevy Monte Carlo, being driven by Brian Mescal Jr., driver of that 33 machine. I tell you what, a heck of a night, up and down night for Mescal Jr. He's kind of went back and forth a little bit so far. Couple other drivers out there on track. Big notice, that 95 machine, Travis Smith, first time joining us here on Tuesday nights for the Throwback Series. Good to see a new driver out there on track. He is one of the biggest moving drivers right now out there on track, up 15 spots from where he started. Now inside your top 10, running in the 8th spot. He's got the 71 of Chris Legue right behind him. Zach Coyer just behind him in the 10th spot. Lucky Dog going around the field, so we will get set to go. We'll get set to see the one to go next time by. Pace car light's going to stay on this time by. And my goodness, going through this timing and scoring chart, there is an absolute ton of incidents involved with those last two little skirmishes, and we have had a lot of drivers with some trouble here tonight. And I tell you what, we've got them. Why not go to them? Why not see if we can't dial up one of the drivers out there? Let's see if we can't dial up that 95 machine of Travis Smith. Travis, how you doing out there? Actually, you got the 9 on the car listed as the 95, but how's the car? How's the track?
Track's really dirty. A lot of debris out there, but yeah, the decal guys didn't get the 95 printed off in time, so we had to leave the 9 on there. Buying our time here. Car's pretty good, but just can't go anywhere. So just riding around, see what happens.
All right, well, with the one to go, we don't want to keep you too long, let you get back to the crew chief and spotter. So before we let you go here on your debut, you want to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on the side of the car?
Just turn 3 there, Darkside Dave, for all your on the gas and talking trash needs there. Caravan trailers on the side of the car, 946 Designs. If you need a paint, holler at us, we'll hook you up.
All right, well, there you have it. Driver of that 95 machine, Travis Smith, is set to line up on the inside row in the 7th position. He'll be just behind Brian Mescal Jr., familiar face and teammate right there in front of him in that 33 machine. But what will the front of the field do for the first time tonight? Starting outside row number 1, Katie Osmond has a shot at the race lead. Chris Medford right there in control of the race when we hit the restart box. Here we go. Ford Mustang ready to duck off. We're ready to go. 26 laps remain. 25 when we cross the line. On the gas and away we go. Osmond crossing the line. He's got Medford right underneath him. 3 wide almost. For a brief moment, not able to get there is Tyler Hilton. Katie Osmond gonna fall to the wayside as Matthew McMeekin moves through on the bottom. Bottom lane, the place to be right now. Miss Linda, you don't even want to know what goes through my head. It's oh, contact behind your race leaders. Oh my goodness. Not sure who was involved in that one, but that was another hard hit involving, I believe that is Russ Hancock involved in this one. Or Hancock having a little bit of issues already. Stephen Page involved in this latest one. There you oh, the 4 of Matthew McMeekin involved. The 1 of Stephen Page. Oh my gosh. Well, you know the saying, cautions breed cautions. We've seen a back-to-back very quick cautions here now in the Motorcraft Quality Parts 100 live here from Atlanta Motor Speedway on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Do want to thank each and every one of you for joining us here tonight, whether it's here on Turn 3 Racing Network on YouTube or over there on the Racecast app. If you haven't already checked that out, go on and check that out. You can find us over there as well. Bringing you some great racing action here tonight in the Racing for Calls, the RFC Throwback Series. That's right, racing these 87 machines this fall in the 2020 season. Well, I mean, 2020's pretty much thrown everything else at us, and we've had pretty much everything on Turn 3 here. Why not have another Throwback Series here as Katie Osmond okey-dokes the field, and he stays out. Tyler Hilton going to stay out as well. And, well, I don't know if I really like that one right now because we've only got 2 drivers on the lead lap staying out as Lucky Dog's going to go around your front runners there. You see a few back markers behind your race leader. Looks like that may be Ray Radford out there on track. Dustin Ping also out there trying to get his lap back. Not going to be able to with the race leader staying out there on track. But as I was saying, I'm not sure if I really like this strategy with Katie Osmond and Tyler Hilton. They are going to be pretty much sitting ducks, about 10 lap older tires. And everybody knows, not just with these tires, but at this track, 10 lap old tires are like 20 lap old tires somewhere else. Going to be interesting to see if Katie Osmond stays out on track and if Tyler Hilton stays out on track. I'd almost want to just go ahead and give up the track position, take my medicine, come down and get me some 4 fresh tires because I don't think we've seen the end of this yet, and it's going to put them well off cycle with a lot of the drivers. Most other drivers, if we get another caution here, they're probably going to stay out, and that's not going to benefit Katie Osmond or Tyler Hilton one bit. Steve Baker going to line up in third. First time here tonight inside the top 5. The double O of Roy Hyde going to line up in fourth. Matthew McMeekin in the 14. Made some moves, made his way up to second, lost some ground on pit road. He's going to line up in the 5th spot. Ryan Nolan in 6th. Travis Smith right there in 7th. Zach Coyer 8th. 9th will be Brian Mescal Jr. in 10th. Rounding out your top 10, Turn 3's very own Rick Hammond Jr. Field continues to make their way off of turn number 4 through the tri-oval. This time by, Field should receive the 1 to go. We'll get double file, get ready to fire things back off here tonight from Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Motorcraft Quality Parts. A 100. Man, oh man, it has been one heck of a race pretty much dominated by the driver that's going to restart in the second row inside lane, driver of that 55 machine, Steve Baker. Can he have the restart of his life almost? Because he's going to need a great one. We're going to have less than 20 laps to go when we take the green flag this time by. But will he be able to make his way by a seasoned veteran like K.D. Osmond, a proven race winner like Tyler Hilton? He's not got to make his way by one of them. He's got to make his way by both. So will these drivers continue to be able to keep a very dominant Baker behind them? Or will Baker put the front of the car where it needs to be or where it shouldn't go and force it? We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out as the Ford Mustang pace car gets ready to duck off this time by. Down and away that Ford Mustang goes, makes that hard left turn inside the restart box. Now K.D. Osmond hits the loud pedal. Away we go. Green flag flies here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. 19 laps remaining in the Motorcraft Quality Parts 100. Big time moment there for Tyler Hilton, almost into that outside wall. Baker gonna clear Hilton now, move himself into the second position. There you see, move to the outside. He's gonna put himself in that second spot. Look for him to drop back to the bottom into turn number 3. Those 4 fresh tires gonna eat up those older tires on that 88 machine. Big time moment there for Baker. Sideways, car kicking a little sideways. Those left side tires touching that white line, and it did not like it one bit. Here comes Roy Hyde. Roy Hyde in that double O machine. He's making his way to the front as Baker goes by Osmond. Making it look easy off of 2. Osmond fighting back on the bottom, though, not going away right there at the door panel. Right there, still side by side, pinching them down just a little bit is Baker, but here comes Osmond. Osmond not going away. Side by side race battle back there for the 4th and 5th position between the 14 of Matthew McMeekin and Roy Hyde. Travis Smith right there in the mix as well. Now Baker, he's going to secure that spot. Give himself about a car length gap to kind of calm down, catch his breath just a little bit. Let me catch my breath just a little bit. As now side-by-side battle for the second place position. K.D. Osmond on the outside. Tyler Hilton looking for the spot. Down on the inside, the 14 of Matthew McMeekin made his way by Roy Hyde as well. Roy falling to the wayside just a little bit. Now we've got Roy Hyde, Travis Smith, Brian Mescal Jr. all lined up right now, 5th, 6th, 7th, and all 3 of those drivers, all teammates out of the Dirty Air Racing stable here in the Racing 4 Calls RFC, a throwback series being presented to you by Ohio and Indiana Roofing Company, as well as Blackhawk Motorsports crossing the line, this time by 15 laps remaining for Steve Baker as he continues to stretch his race lead now up to right about 0.6 of a second. So Baker getting the job done when he needs to get it done late here in the race from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Back across the stripe once again, Steve Baker continues to lead Tyler Hilton. Matthew McMeekin now looking to the inside of Hilton. Hilton, one of those drivers that stayed out. McMeekin hit pit road. Now he is moving his way to the front. Brian Mescal Jr. made his way by Roy Hyde. Travis Smith making his way by Roy as well. And here he comes. He's all over the rear deck lid of Katie Osmond. Look for that 33 to make a move as McMeekin sets sail now and sets his sights in on your race leader, the 55 of Steve Baker. Gonna look through the timing and scoring because this isn't our only battles. Dustin German now battling in the 11th position with Joshua Spalding. Damon Cox just about a half a second off of them, but he is right there in the mix as well. More battles being had. Brian Mescal Jr., Travis Smith side by side now as they try to make their way by Tyler Hilton. Katie Osmond right now still running in that third spot, keeping Brian Mescal Jr., Tyler Hilton, Travis Smith, and Roy Hyde at bay. And this 14 machine of Matthew McMeekin, man, he is trying all he can. He's made up about a 10th right now. And if he keeps this pace up, he will catch your race leader. Catching him is one thing. Passing him is another. Just 0.03 of a second faster than your race leader that time by. Looks like Travis Smith made his way by Tyler Hilton. Now Brian Mescal Jr. still trying to make his way by Katie Osmond for that third spot. Osmond goes to the bottom, Mescal Jr. to the top. Matthew McMeekin that time by just a 1,000th of a second slower than your race leader. So Baker keeping that distance, that gap right at the half a second mark. Gonna check the lap times that time by in 0.03 of a second. Again faster Matthew McMeekin, so he closes the distance. Now that gap just under a half a second. 0.47 seconds separate your top two drivers. Katie Osmond continues to keep Brian Mescal Jr. at bay. Travis Smith right there, now inside your top five for the first time tonight. And will these drivers continue to be patient, or will they get a little bit stressed out, a little bit fed up, and use the bumper? We'll have to wait and see how this all shakes out. Last time by, or that time by, oh my goodness, big difference in the lap time for your top two drivers. Matthew McMeekin that time by 33.50. Your race leader, a 33.62. So a little over a 10th faster that time was Matthew McMeekin on Steve Baker. And there you see that gap. It is closing. That distance is getting smaller and smaller. And I tell you what, I believe we have been afforded the luxury of a great on-board camera here tonight with that 14 machine of Matthew McMeekin. So I tell you what, let's join this chase. Let's join this battle on board with the driver of the 14, Matthew McMeekin. Here we see McMeekin. He's got about a half a second back to his closest competition, Katie Osmond, so he can fully focus in on the driver in front of him, Steve Baker, and he is right there. 0.2 of a second separate your top two drivers. 7 laps remaining as your top two head back into turn number 3. Battle at the front is not going away. Matthew McMeekin has caught him. Can he get by him? Field making their way down and around the lap marker, the back marker of the 6 machine, that Valvoline machine of Eric Blount. He has seen some better days. Atlanta, not much of a friend right now for the driver of that 6 machine. Blount gonna still soldier on, try to get the best finish that he can. Now being scored, the first car 1 lap down in the 16th position. Rick Hammond Jr. being scored in 15th spot, last car on the lead lap, and he is about a half a track ahead of your race leader, so he will, or he should, maintain a lead lap position. And my goodness, Ken Baker hold off McMeekin. McMeekin closed that gap within a handful of laps, but since he's been right at that 2/10 off of your race leader, he has not been able to do anything else with him. Can he do anything else with him? Time is running out as the field heads down into turn number 3 once again. Here comes KD Osmond now. Looks like he may have let the tires cool off a little bit, because now he is right here running right back on the rear deck lid of Matthew McMeekin. 3 laps remaining. Your top 5 all within 0.6 of a second of each other. It is still anybody's race. Big moment there for McMeekin off of turn 2. He loses a ton of time. Baker setting sail. There you see the gap. My goodness, can it go 2 in a row? Can Baker make his way around the track 2 more times? Popsicle sticks in the air for Baker for the 2nd week in a row here in the RFC Throwback Series, presented to you by Ohio and Indiana Roofing Company, as well as Blackhawk Motorsports. And oh my, coming around off of turn number 4, your race leader will see the white flag here at Atlanta Motor Speedway down into turn number 1 for the final time in the Motorcraft Quality Parts 100 live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, looking for 2 in a row. Halfway down the backstretch, Baker enjoys an 0.8 of a second race lead. Nobody's gonna catch him. Nobody's got anything for him through 3 and 4 for the final time. 2 in a row. What a way to start off the season. Your race winner, Steve Baker. Oh my goodness, what a race, what a night, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness, Baker doing it in form, in fashion, and here you go, bringing that machine to a slide. He's going to celebrate, burn it down just a little bit. What a race win. 2 in a row now for Steve Baker. We're going to set things up, get ready to go for your post-race interview, so stay tuned, stick with us, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. back trackside for your post-race interviews. Let's see if we can't get in a word or two with some of the drivers out there. Looks like we're trying to queue up and queue in with the driver finishing in the 3rd position out here tonight. Let's see if we can't get in a quick word with the driver finishing in the 3rd and final podium spot here tonight. Driver of the AC Delco Automotive Parts 33, Brian Mescal Jr. It's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How's it going, Dave?
It's going, my man. How you doing?
Man, that was a hard fought 3rd place.
Pretty tough, huh?
Yeah, I used up a couple horseshoes earlier there, and honestly, I probably had a 7th place car, but the tire wear pit stops kind of worked out for me. I took those 4 tires on that last stop, and I was just eating my tires up there. I got a little research to do.
All right, my man. Well, we're 2 races into the season, looking pretty good here with a podium. What's your thoughts heading into next week?
I got to do some practice. I got to figure out why I'm killing this right front, and got to catch up with Steven and KD. Them boys are fast everywhere we go, so got to do some research.
All right, my man. Well, great job out there, even if you think you're still behind the 8 ball. Way to put that thing up in the podium spots, walk away with 3rd place. So before we let you go, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on that car?
I just want to wishes out to Jags. Hope she's doing good, and hope she's watching.
All right, well, there you have it. Some few and final words from the driver finishing in the 3rd position here tonight. We'll see if we can't catch up with Katie Osmond. Now, Katie finishing in the 2nd position here, knocking on the door of the race win there for the brief moment. Katie, man, how was the rest of the night for you?
Oh, man, it was tough. I didn't have a great car. Well, I didn't really know how to drive the car really that great. But, you know, I just was able to fight all night long, and, you know, glad I came home with the 2nd here. But, yeah, tough night. Man,
these cars, I keep hearing a lot of drivers talk about that right front. How horrible is the tire compound truly in your opinion? Because you've driven multiple different cars. We're well aware of your skill and your caliber. So your input is kind of well needed here, I guess, and well deserved. I mean, how bad do these things really chew up that right front?
They chew up the right front a lot, but I think the compound overall is, I mean, I think it's really great. I like having a tire with fall off on it. But the one thing I noticed is that, you know, no matter how you ran the tires in the beginning, it didn't really affect your long run speed. You could match pretty much everybody else's speed over the long run, even if you just destroyed your tires at the start. So, you know, that might be something that needs to be worked on, but I think overall the compound wears really nicely.
All right, my man. Well, continuing some great race finishes, and hopefully you got a lot more in store for us here on Tuesday nights in the Throwback series. Before we let you go, Katie, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thank anybody on that car?
Yep, sponsor, Ohio and Indiana Roofing Company. They're awesome. Thank you guys for broadcasting. Thank you, my family, for watching. Everyone on my team at Blackhawk Motorsports. And everyone who showed up here tonight. It got a little messy near the end, but we cleaned it up. It was overall a really good race.
All right, my man. Well, once again, congratulations on your 2nd place finish here tonight. It was a privilege to catch up with you after the race once again, and we'll look forward to catching up with you over the next few weeks. All right, there you have it. Driver of that 88 machine finishing in the 2nd position here tonight. Katie Osmond doing what he's got to do to get the job done. That's going to bring us to our race winner. There you see him, driver of that 55 machine, My goodness, 2 in a row now for Steve Baker. Man, that's gotta feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we might have led the most laps again this week. So, yeah, anytime you can come in, lead the most laps, and come away with the victory is a good night for sure.
Well, Steve, I'm no statistician. I'm not good with words either, as you can tell. But you led well over half the race, man. There's no way anybody's gonna take that one from you. So, some more points coming your way with that one. The car was on top of the speed charts in a happy hour. Fell short a little bit there in qualifying. Did something just not go right in qualifying for you?
Yeah, just didn't have the same feel I had in practice when I hit a couple of those faster laps, but don't worry too much about where I start. Just more so the race pace, and was able to get the lead there on lap 1 and just kind of pace when I could. There were a few guys out there who I think had some pretty good speed tonight, like Tyler, Hilton, Dustin German, Josh, Dale for sure, and Matt there at the end. But and I think Troy as well. But yeah, a lot of fast cars there tonight, man. So it was really just trying to hold on to the tires and make them last when you saw people kind of making their runs and going for the pass. So.
Well, man, congratulations on another race win, back-to-back race wins here in the RFC Throwback Series. A heck of a job, man. That in itself says something, back-to-back race wins. Congratulations. I know you're going to celebrate the night away, so before we let you go, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, thanks anybody on that car?
Yeah, we've got Autism Speaks on the car for this year, so bringing awareness to that charity and cause. Shout out to everybody who comes out to race, Turn 3 Network for the great broadcasts, SRTV Network also on the car. Shout out to my teammates out there, Dustin German and Josh Spalding. I think they had some pretty strong cars, but ended up with some damage. But yeah, and Chris and Rick for putting on the show. Love coming out here on Tuesdays.
All right, my man. Well, you enjoy the rest of the night, and we'll tune in next week just to see if you can make it a three-peat. What do you say?
I'd love to, man. Darlington's one of my favorite tracks, so we'll go for it. But like I said, there's plenty of fast guys in here, so gonna have to work for it.
All right, my man. We'll see you there.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, there you have it. Some few final words from the driver walking away with, well, yet another race win. Driver of the 55 machine, Steve Baker, getting the job done out there tonight, walking away with the second race win of the season, dominating tonight's race, leading over half of the laps. The only thing he did not do was walk away with the points for the pole position here tonight. Pole award going the opposite direction, not his way. He, I believe he qualified in the third position, if I'm not mistaken. As a matter of fact, we won't second guess it. We'll go ahead and throw it up for you. That's the only thing he missed right there. You see it, Chris Stump snatching that pole position away, and Baker right there. There you see him, third place. That's the only thing that didn't go his way here tonight from Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Motorcraft Quality Parts 100. And with the second race of the season in the books for the Racing Forward Calls Throwback Series, man, I tell you what, race fans, we have got ourselves a great thing going here. 2 great races so far, and when we head to Darlington, oh my, that is going to be a sight to see as well. And oh my, it sounds like the producers are getting tired of me talking. The bells are sounding. It's time to go through your rundown. We're going to give you your unofficial race results from Atlanta Motor Speedway here tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Your unofficial race results look a little something like this, walking away with the second race win on the season, the 55 of Steve Baker. Katie Osmond gonna finish in the second spot. Rounding out the podium spots, the 33 of Brian Maskell Jr. Travis Smith gonna go home in fourth. Rounding out your top 5, the 14 of Matthew Meekin. The 82 of Tyler Hilton gonna finish in second and sixth. Seventh will go to Chris of Medford. Joshua Spalding gonna slot home in 8th, 9th. The 00 of Roy Hyde. 10th will be Dustin German. 11th, Damon Cox. Ryan Nolan in 12th. Chris Legue gonna come home with a good top 15. In the 13th position, Rick Hammond Jr. just behind him. In 14th, Jack Coyer gonna round out your top 15. 16th spot goes to Eric Blunt, Ray Radford. In 17th, Dustin Ping back in the 18th finishing position. 19th will go to the 80 of Brian Littleton. The 4 Mike Massengill with some trouble finding himself 6 laps down here tonight. The 43 of Brian Snare finishing in the 21st spot. 22nd is Russ Hancock. Troy Radford in 23rd. 24th, Lane Botts. Stephen Page in the 25th spot. 26th will be Jeffrey Clifton. Chris Stump gonna finish in 27th. 28th will go to Cade Green. And that will round out your field here tonight in the Motorcraft Quality Parts 100. Man, what a night. Man, what a race. Thanks to each and every one of you joining us out there on the YouTube side of things. If you haven't already, go check out your Play stores, your iOS stores. Check out Racecast. You can find us over there on Racecast app as well, so go check that out if you haven't already. Thanks for joining us here tonight. Thanks for joining myself, Darkside Dave in the cave, here in the Turn 3 Racing Network booth. This wouldn't be possible without all of y'all, so before you go to bed, thank each and every one of you. And well, with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, stay loved until we see you again here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Well, until then, my friends,